Okay, so last night you finished year 4 or round 4 or what the system calls here Y-4. So I'm about to process it. Before I process it, I want to show you what I would have done to finish my year 4 if I was a student, just to give you an idea, and you can kind of compare what you did to what I'm doing. So again, these expectation ranges have increased. The importance factor stays the same, but customers keep wanting more and better. So I'm going to design my car with an idea to keep improving my vehicle over last year. So I might not be tremendously better, but I want to make sure I'm always improving it. So let's see. Okay, so this is great. I went up from 52 to 62% profit margin, and that's because I made those operational cost investments last round that pushed me up from 18 to $4,500 cost reductions. So that helped me greatly improve. And with that, I can push up some characteristics, like I'm going to improve my fuel economy to the higher end of the range, since I now have a little bit more wiggle room with my profit margin. I'm going to push up the safety features a bit. So I'm going to leave it at 59. My goal is to get most cars to 59 this round. And again, when you do the sales forecast, remember that the best way to start with the sales forecast is you use the student user guide. And in the student user guide, there is, and I've gone over this several thousand times, but kind of start here, year 4, and then I'm going to, that's just my starting point. And hopefully I have to figure out, are my cars better, average, or worse than the average? And now to dictate whether I forecast higher, lower, or about the same as I'd have here. Okay. So I got those numbers, and for this car, I'm going to move it up to 4,300. And remember, you guys are filling out the reflective observations. I'm not, for sake of time savings, I'm not doing that. So here again, I'm going to try and just first improve upon what I had last round. And then let's see where I am after the cost reductions. Okay, so I'm at only 1% improvement. So I'm going to pull back on a couple. This is only 5%. I don't think I can pull back on that. I think it's at its lowest already. So, okay, so I got this up about 4%. I was trying to get to 49 for everything. So, okay, so I got to 59. I'm trying to get to 59 in every car. Not quite the, it's between 3 and 5%, so I'm going to go with that. And then we go to the truck. And again, I want to improve everything. And you get these warnings sometimes when you go too low. So let's see where this puts me. Okay, 60%, which is kind of where I want. It's 4% better, so I'm always shooting for 3 to 5%. In this round, I'm trying to get average 59% profit margins for this round. But I can see that let's see here. Now the luxury car is getting a little bit pricey on the build. And I can see now I'm down, forecasting lower than the average, because I don't think I'm going to make a car quite as attractive here. Okay, so still 2 percentage points lower then, okay, well, I think the best I could do on this car is I want to lower the luxury features. The best I could do is match the profit margin. I'm still above 59%, but it's a little challenging because the luxuries are expensive to build. Okay, so the marketing area, I'm going to do that separately because it takes a long time. And I'm just trying to use the user guide to space out where the marketing should go in and to figure out do I want to be more aggressive or less aggressive in my marketing spend. So we'll be back after I finish the marketing. Okay, I'm done with the marketing. I've seen that the range of the marketing has gone up quite a bit because of the competition and the growth of the industry. Marketing budgets have moved up quite a bit. So you're going to be marketing a lot more than you did in the previous round. And that's typical in a growing market, growing business. You're going to pay more for marketing. Okay, so here, let's see. I'm going to need one more production plant here. And again, I'm going to greatly invest in my operational investments. I'm essentially going to double them because it's getting harder and harder for me to make my profit margins increase, and I have to get my profit margins to increase every round to please my investors. So in order to do that moving forward, I'm going to double my investments in my operational investments, and this will not only give me 100 points for the end of the round, it will also here I don't have to buy a production plant, which is good, saves me some money. But again, the truck and luxury were getting difficult to make those profits on. So again, I'm going to keep doubling up on those operational investments. Let's see, you're going to buy a production plant here. And you see, I'm only buying the production plants as I need them. I'm never buying them ahead of time because I don't want my capacity utilization to go down. And that's what these reflective observations are trying to get you to think about and understand. That's why it's important to fill out these reflective observations, because it makes you a better player. Okay, so I've made my wish list of what production should build. Let's see if finance can afford it. Okay, so let me go right down to the bottom. And let's see, I have a $36 million surplus, which is pretty good. I'm going to pay off, since I have such a big surplus, I'm going to spend a little extra money to retire some debt here. Oh, that's too much. So I'm going to just retire a little debt since I have some extra money. But you know what? I'm going to stay with a $32 billion surplus just because I don't want to have an accidental deficit in the round. Okay, so this is completed. Now I'm going to go in and process the round, and we'll come back and we'll see what the results are. So this is a little behind the scenes. When I process the round, I have to make sure it shows me that all the teams have completed their work, and once all the teams have completed the work, I can advance to the next round. And now we're in round 5. So let's see how the class did and how I did in round 5. Okay, so let's take a look. Here's the class. So we see after 4 years, everybody, just about everybody has increased their net profits, and we have some teams now touching or surpassing 160 million in net profits, which is really great. And you see, since this is a growing industry, net profits have been growing, and that's what we expect. Points per team. Again, we're trying to, most teams have averaged between 300 and 400 points is what we're trying to do. Number 1 in points is Team 38. Almost 500 points, did very well. Congratulations, Team 38. If you look at stock price, number 1 in stock price, again, is Team 10 with breaking $100 per share. And we have Team 41 and Team 37, both getting close to that $100 per share. Sales, we have the same number 1 in sales, Team 12, followed by the same number 2, Team 40, and then the new number 3 perhaps, no, maybe the same 14, and then 41. Excellent showing in sales. And earnings per share, we had a company drop here in earnings per share, Team 34, went down in earnings, Team 39. Team 35. So these are a few exceptions where their earnings actually went down. Also Team YG. So these are companies that need to focus a little bit better, maybe work better as a team and not take the simulation as you do your part, you do your part, you do your part, and I'll submit it, but actually sitting down together in a Zoom chat, video conference, or in person on campus and saying, okay, what are we going to do here? What's our strategy? Have you watched Professor Nugent's video where he goes over everything that we could do to make our simulation better? And I'm thinking about maybe having a new strategy, and that would really entail marketing, spend a little bit more money in marketing, and production has to make those operational investments. What do you think about that? So working together as a team is critical for doing well in the simulation. So if you have a team member that's not really working at the same level the rest of the team, it's going to bring the whole team down, and you have to step in and make up for that team member if you want the simulation to your company to excel. So you have to, as a team, work to the best of your abilities, and some people naturally be doing more and be more successful in the team than others, but you still have to all work together somehow to get the job done. Okay, so that's the company, the total industry. In my individual team here that I'm playing in the group, we could see that my sales have gone up every year, which makes sense because in the user guide they tell me that sales are increasing every year in the industry. So that's a good thing. My profits have gone up every year, which is what my investors want and demand. My net profits versus sales. So as my sales go up, my net profits are going up even faster. Well, not even faster, but they're going up in proportion. And my stock price has risen pretty well each round. And my earnings per share have gone up. So these are what you want to see. My points have gone down, but this doesn't mean that that's bad. What this means is that it's getting tougher and tougher because there's more competition. But as long as I'm above 400 points per round, I'm in no danger of losing any of not getting an A in this class, in this project, or getting the full points I deserve in this project. And my best-selling car is the sedan, followed by economy, luxury, and truck. And that has to do more with those market segments are different sizes. So if I go into the game, you should look at the overview first. And for year 5, you see that I was able to increase revenues by 38%. I did better on my quick and debt ratios because I paid down some debt, and that helps improve those scores. At the end on the finance page, I retired some debt. My profit margins went up 6%, which I was trying to get it. I was trying to get my profit margins up, and you're always trying to get between 3 and 5%. But if you could get 6%, go for it, because this increase in the profit margin this is 6% year-over-year change. My actual percentage is only 57 to 61, so that's 4%. That's between the 3 and the 5% increase I'm trying to get, but this is a year-over-year 6% increase. My operating margins and my net profit went down a little bit because my marketing budget went up so much. I spent a lot on marketing because that kind of dragged down my operational and net profits. So marketing's getting more expensive. I'm going to have to shoot for even higher profit margins because that trickles down. The gross profit margin trickles down to the operational, it trickles down to the net. So the higher I could get this gross, the more likely I'll be able to get my operational and net profit margins up. As you would have learned in Chapter 3, if you read Chapter 3 of our finance class, where we talk about the financial ratios and financial statements, and Chapter 4, pro forma financials. Okay, asset turnover and return on assets, these two asset categories, return on assets, total asset turnover, hard to beat because I took on so many assets this round, buying extra production plants, buying all those operational investments. I really greatly moved up my assets, which made it a little difficult in some of these categories to do well, but that's okay because the next couple of rounds I'm not going to have to invest as much, so my assets naturally will rebound. I'll get more points in this area. My earnings per share went up. My market capitalization went up. My book value went up. My forecasts were pretty accurate. Just a little bit on the sedan side was a little down, 4 points down on that, but I made it up on the luxury. Now I did double my operational investments, so I got to 100 points there, and I did wind up having a surplus. So that earned me 400 points, which is my goal for each round. But my total cumulative points is 2243. So I have two rounds left, and I only have to make about 200 points per round to guarantee an A in this project. So I'm pretty good. If you're close to 2,000 points or over 2,000 points by entering the 5th round, you're doing excellent, and you have a couple more rounds to work on that. So again, you can check over your assessments, look at your charts, And you see that most teams, no one really broke 500 this round, because round 4s are really a building round. It's a critical round, and typically the lowest points in the whole simulation occur in round 4. 5 and 6 are a little bit easier to make points in. And if we look at profit margins, we had teams breaking the 60%, 6 teams breaking the 60% barrier of gross profits. And if you're below 50%, if your gross profits at this point are below 50%, the way I look at it is each round your profits should be going up 5%. So by the time you get to round 5, which we're in now, you should at least be in the 50 percentile, and round 6 you should be, at least the 60 percentile. So anybody below 50% on gross profits is underperforming. You need to get that up. And there's one team here that's still below the 40% we started at. So this team really has to look at their gross profits and increase those sales prices, reduce those costs to really make that happen. You can check the industry to check out your top competitors, everything they did, where other teams are at, what their total score is, so you get a better idea where you stand among your peers. You can review your financial statements, which we now know how to do from Chapter 3 and Chapter 4, and you're back to sales. So you see now my operational investments have doubled. So now I have a $9,000 deduction. So when I make my cars this round, I can certainly try to make them better, and we'll see. Yeah, so now look how much my profit margins have jumped. So I'm getting into the 75% level here. So when I go into this next round, and don't try and copy my I wouldn't try and copy my sales information here, because I'm just throwing in some numbers just to kind of see where I wind up on my profit margin side. Okay, so I'm jumping up about 10 percentage points because of those a huge investment I made in my operational investments. And let's see. Okay, so still this is truck, and I'm still having a hard time with truck getting that number, but I'm still getting about 4 percentage points higher, which is okay. But truck is a little tough. I'm going to have to make, more investment. So here, and let's see how you do in luxury. And luxury, I was able to get that up to 66%. And I can play around with these. I could tweak them some more, and maybe get it up a full 5%. So just wanted to show you, quickly how in making these operational investments really do help push up my gross profits. And so if you're low in gross profits, you have to make those operational investments to get ahead in the simulation. Okay. So that's my review of the last couple of rounds. My ideas of how you should have filled in year 4 information. We're now in year 5, and I gave you some ideas of where you should be in year 5 and things you should be doing. So hopefully you're watching these videos. There's 200 students in the class, and typically only about 60 students watch these videos. And I can tell you, I'm sure the students who watch these videos are doing well in the simulation. And for most of the class, most of the class is doing pretty well in the simulation. So that's a good thing, and it looks like at least 80% of the class is on track to get the full points. So keep up the good work, and I hope these videos help, and I'll talk to you soon. Good luck, everybody.